what happens is that, let's say I'm doing the first question for you. Okay, over here this can also be written over here like this, that let's say that we have H2 plus Cl2 and it is making 2 moles of HCl. Okay, it can be rewritten like this, or it can also be rewritten like HH plus Cl. Why? Because this is Cl2. Yeah, so if you remember in the covalent compound structure we did this, that the two chlorines can be attached next to each other, right? Okay, so over here it's single bond over here. Remember how we did single covalent compound? And then over here we are doing 2 moles of HCl. Okay, now first of all, when we are calculating the bond enthalpy right now. Okay, so for the reactant side, let's say I'm choosing this color over here so we can distinguish. Okay, so over here first of all we are calculating delta HR. Okay, this delta means change. Okay, and over here this H means heat. Okay, and the R is representing reactants. Okay, now over here the first one over here is HH. Okay, so we will write over here H and H. Okay, and then the second bond is of Cl and Cl, so we will write this over here, and then we will multiply it first of all by number of moles. Now number of moles is the bigger number that is written over here. Okay, and if there is no number written over here, that means 1 is written over here. Okay, so that means we will multiply both of these by 1. Then we will multiply both of these by the number of bonds which are repeated. Okay, so over here in HH you see the bond is repeated once only, so we will write 1 over here, and the ClCl is repeated once only, so we will write 1 over here. Okay, then from the table over here that will be provided to you in the paper, it is written over here that HH, its bond enthalpy is 436, so you will write over here 436. Okay, then ClCl is over here and it's 242, so you will write 242 over here. You will multiply this, so it is 436 over here, and when you multiply this, this is 242 over here. Then you will add these two numbers together, so this would be 6 plus 2 is 8, then this is 7, then this is 6. Please, I am doing mental maths. This is a very bad thing right now. I shouldn't have done that. And please do not use your mental maths and brain cells in doing maths and chemistry. Okay, otherwise you're just utilizing your body's energy for nothing. Okay, and your mind will also get exhausted in doing maths. Okay, so don't do the maths. Please take your calculators with you. Okay, then over here this part of the equation after the arrow is the product side, right? So over here then we'll do delta HP over here. Okay, so over here we will do HCl. Okay, we have right now the bigger number is 2 written over here, so we will write 2 over here. Now how many times this bond is repeated? It's 1 time. Yeah, so we will write 1 over here. Then we will write HCl over here, that is 431, so we will multiply it by 431. Okay, and then we will multiply it using a calculator. Okay, so just a minute. Okay, so over here 431 multiplied by 2 is 862. Okay, this is delta HP over here. Now comes up the final thing. Okay, that how do we write the final thing? Okay, that is delta H. How do we calculate that? Now you need to understand this formula and you need to memorize this formula, that is delta HR minus delta HP. Okay, now maybe in the exam you will forget about it, that minus sign was with R or P. So do not just cram it up, try to understand the reason behind it, why we have a plus sign here and why do we have a minus sign here. Okay, alright, so look, it refers back to the thing, if you remember, Benfex. Yeah, okay, so over here B is referring to breaking. Okay, and En is referring to endothermic. And if you remember, endothermic are those reactions that absorb heat energy. Okay, so over here what would happen is this, that since it is absorbing the heat energy, okay, so it will have a plus sign. And forming, okay, forming is an exothermic reaction, okay, and over here it will release heat, okay. So now we can understand that, yeah, it is always, the exothermic is always represented by a negative sign. Now if you see over here, reactants are broken up, yeah, and broken up things are endothermic, so these are absorbing heat, so it will have a plus sign, because of which with delta HR you get to place a plus sign. Now the formation of bonds will be releasing heat energy, and you will be putting a negative sign next to it, okay. So for the product, for the delta HP, you are putting up a negative sign, okay. Then you will take this value over here, that is 678, and then you will subtract it by 862, okay. And then you will do plus, you will put these values in the calculator, okay, and there you go, you get the answer minus 184. And then you take this unit, okay, that is kilojoules per mole, and this is your final answer.